Chapter 6. What is the 1-2-3 model for memorable speeches? Being noticed is not the same as being remarkable. Seth Godin. Now that we've talked about structure, let's talk about what makes a talk memorable. I want to share the secret ingredient for the third part of your talk, the body. What makes up that big middle section? Well, I use the 1-2-3 model. It works for me, and I believe it will work for you. Here's the method. Number 1, tell a story. Number 2, make a point. Number 3, ask a question. Now you can take these steps and rearrange them any way you want. You can ask a question that leads to a story that leads to a point. But when you use these 3 ingredients for the body of your talk, you'll keep your audience's attention both during your speech and after. Our minds are driven by story. When you tell a story, you can open up the hearts and minds of your audience. You can invite them to step into your world and learn the feeling of the process, not just the information. It has been proven that after a talk, 90% of the content is forgotten within 1 hour. That's right. 90% of what you said is forgotten. Guess what's remembered? The feeling. How did you make your audience feel? Sad, mad, inspired, challenged, convicted, renewed? What feeling did you bring to your audience through the stories you told? Stories leads us to the second part of the 1-2-3 model, the point. You might hear people saying that you need at least 3 to 5 points in your speech. But here's the reality. You only need as many points as necessary to clearly communicate your idea. It could be 1 point. You could tell multiple stories that keep coming back to that one single point. Think of the point as the highlighter of your speech. You have to have a highlighter. This is important. But ask the question is the secret sauce to the 1-2-3 model. This step allows your audience to take the story you told, make it personal, and internalize your idea. Let me give you an example from my TEDx talk. I asked the audience this question: where do you live? It's no longer about my neighborhood or my neighbors. It's about you and your neighbors. If we don't invite the audience to ask themselves a question, then the talk is only about us. And quite frankly, that's boring. Nobody cares about us. They're asking the question, how do you make my life better? Let me reflect back to my mentor, Jim Dale. He told me about the most popular radio station listened to across the world. It's called WIIFM. Have you heard of it? WIIFM. What's in it for me? That's what every audience is tuned to when they hear a speaker on stage. What's in it for me? Your audience will never know the answer unless you ask them a question. That's it. That's the 1-2-3 model for a memorable speech. Tell a story, make a point, ask a question. Use the story as your anchor. Use the point as your highlighter. And use the question as an invitation to internalize your idea. Using this method will remove your fear of public speaking. As you prepare your speech, you won't stare at a blank page in confusion. You will know to write down the story, make the point, and ask the question. And make sure to tell your story with authenticity. Don't overlook the conflict and challenges and the pain. The best stories are those that come from the deepest hurts. Then you can lead your audience to the point before asking a thought-provoking question. that sticks with them. Don't overlook the simplicity of this model for the body of your speech. Embrace it. It's like spaghetti and meatballs. That meal doesn't have a lot of ingredients, but when you add a little cheese on top, it tastes amazing. That's the power of a story, point, and question.